Hi Aries, happy birthday and welcome to your April 2019 Tarology 33 reading. We have a Celtic crossbreed in front of us as always. Some extra cards came out for you in the main spread. And we have two different oracle decks that I go through at the end. So you got one card in the first one, and then for the second deck, three actually came out. So there's a lot of messages to get to there. And then we wrap up with a Mudra card. So let's get started with the main spread, going through one by one. In the main situation position, you have two cards that came up. You have the Hermit and you have the Emperor. So this is actually the Major Arcana card for Aries, which is your sign. And this is the Major Arcana card for Virgo. So this played out to me in a few different ways. So I'll go through them all and we'll see which of those fits your scenario. One could just be that you've really been doing some inner work, maybe staying behind the scenes for a while, and now with the sun coming back into your sign, this is maybe saying you're ready to, reclaim your throne, if you will, and get back in the spotlight and get things moving. Another way this played out for me as I was looking at these two cards is it could also be saying that maybe one of the main things that I was looking at when I saw this is maybe some of you are looking toward getting a promotion at your job. So, this could just be saying that, you're really putting in the work to see how can you get to that level of being the boss at whatever job you're in. That's another way that played out for me. And then I was also thinking of this, which is to say, it could be studying as well. Maybe you're studying or taking a course, maybe you need some kind of a certification in order to get the next level of promotion at your job. That's one of the vibes that I was picking up from it. This could also be, though, that you've been doing some inner work, because you have a lot of crazy energies going on in your 12th house at the time I'm recording this. Recording this right before the sun officially goes into Aries, so, it's still in March right now as I'm recording it, but this could just be pointing to that as well, saying that, you've been using that Pisces energy constructively, which is, sometimes that's a good time to look at where you might be getting in your own way and trying to clear that energy out so that, when the sun does come back into your sign, and, you're still going to have the retrograde to deal with right when the sun gets into your sign. By the time we get into April, there will be a few days left, really, of the shadow. Basically, by the time your new moon kicks in, all that energy should be cleared. And then that could be saying that that's when you really be feeling more like yourself again. And, out of that more introspective, quiet phase that you may be in right now. And another reason why I got the work vibe there too is I was thinking of Virgo as the sixth house for you, and then the Emperor, sometimes seen as a boss. So that's why I was thinking that maybe it's saying, all right, you've really been putting in the work, keeping your head down, focusing, pushing forward, and now with your end goal being to get some kind of promotion. And if that's the case, it looks like it might actually happen for you soon. The only reason I would say soon and not right away is because in the challenge or obstacle position, you have the Page of Pentacles. So I always say to people with the pages, to me, it's like they newly possess that energy, so they're not fully comfortable with it yet. I also say, it looks like if you look at the stance of the pages, it looks like they have one foot in, one foot out, right? And if you look closely at the pentacle, it's almost in his grasp, but not quite. Like you have the knight here. So let me just show you that as a comparison point. If you look at the knight of pentacles, he does have the pentacle clearly in his hands. Whereas with the page, it's like just out of his reach. So that's why I say that, with this coming up in the challenger obstacle position, it could just be saying that you're close to getting that next level of success, whether it be a promotion, a raise. Like I said, for those of you who've been maybe trying to get some kind of certification before you got a job, maybe you're very close to doing that. You're close to the completion there, but not quite. That's the main vibe that I'm getting there with this card coming up in the challenge position, is just saying that you're almost there, but not quite. All right, in the foundation position, you got the Six of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. So this is a great card to have in the foundation position. And then the Six of Cups is also a pretty positive card. It plays out a few different ways. Sometimes I say it could be a reconciliation card. I always say the being the bigger person card as well. That's how I personally refer to it usually, because if you look at the two people, it looks like there's a size difference, and it looks like he's making an offer to her, right? So, it could be you making amends with someone. That's certainly one way that could play out. Sometimes this is getting back into a rhythm of something that you used to do in the past, and usually be in the distant past, and maybe, you let it fall by the wayside for a bit, but now you're getting back into it. Given that the Wheel of Fortune is it's a card of Sagittarius, or Jupiter technically, and that represents your ninth house. So for some of you, this could be saying that maybe some of you are going back to school, or again, if it's just a certification, maybe something that in your career field, you're like, all right, you know what, I wanted to do this, but then I decided not to, and then maybe you're reconsidering, like, you know what, let me just get the certification and move in that direction. But with the Wheel of Fortune, whatever the case may be, if something does come back around for you in the month of April, it looks like it'd be relatively positive, because this is in the upright, and the Wheel of Fortune is as well. And you actually do have Jupiter in your ninth house right now as an Aries, so could definitely be something along those lines. It could even be traveling too, long distance travel, but mainly I'm getting the vibe that something or someone is coming back around, and you're going to make a positive reconnection there. All right, in the past position, we have the King of Swords and the Four of Cups. So to me, this could just be saying that you'd been receiving offers in the past. So maybe, again, if this is you just really focusing on, all right, I want this particular promotion or something along those lines, you've just really been focusing on that with that Hermit energy. And maybe this is saying, you've received other offers, right? Maybe other companies have tried to offer you a job, and you're like, you know what? No, I'm really focused on trying to get this right now. So that could be what that King of Swords energy is pointing to, is just saying that you've been very stern and, I wouldn't say closed off, but very discerning about what offers you do take and what you don't. And basically, if someone brings an offer your way that you're not happy with, you haven't been shy about declining it. Like, no, sorry, that's not going to cut it for me. That's the primary vibe I'm getting there. And then this could, if this is pointing to a timeline as well, this could just be pointing to when the sun was in Aquarius. So, towards the end of January through mid-February. Maybe that's when these offers were coming in and you were declining them. So that could be what that's pointing to there. And this could also be a falling out with friends as well, because this is the court card for Aquarius, which is your 11th house. And, you guys did have, for a pretty good chunk of last year, you had the South Node moving through that sign. And then also, there was an eclipse with Mars, which is your ruler, in that house as well. So, this could just be saying that you were letting some old friendships go in the past. And, maybe if that's the case, maybe you do decide to reconnect with at least one of those people. Maybe with the passage of time and some of those energies clearing up, maybe you're looking at things from a different perspective. But at the very least in the past, like I said, it looks like you were probably receiving offers and very specific and stern, like, nope, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. All right. In the position of the present, we have the Queen of Wands, and this is actually the court card for your sign. So we have the Emperor in the main situation position, and Queen of Wands in the present. So definitely good signs that, and I think I was telling you guys back in the February reading, I'm like, all right, in January you had Mars in your sign, and then halfway through February it moved on into Taurus. And I was like, between that and then when the sun came into Pisces, and you had all that 12th house energy going on. It's like basically you're going to feel like, you have all that energy with Mars in your sign, then it moves on into Taurus, and then you get the Pisces energy going, and you might feel like, what happened? You might have felt like, all right, you were just really reinvigorated to start the year, and then you might have felt like, oh, great, here we go again, almost making you feel like you were back in those retrograde energies you had last year when your ruler was retrograde for a while. And I said, it'd be short lived. So maybe that's what this is pointing to, saying that, okay, you might have had a little bit of a lull, but now as those energies are moving out of Pisces, the retrogrades are ending, like I said, and you have the sun coming into your sign. Could just have you feeling like you're back in your element again, literally, so that could be what that's pointing to there, but it's definitely a good card to have in that position. In the near future position, we had the Judgment card, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups. So it's a few different ways that this came out for me. One is this could certainly be something or someone from the past coming back around. We also got that vibe with the Six of Cups, obviously, and like I said, at the time I'm recording this, and basically right up until the start of April, we're still going to be dealing with that Mercury retrograde energy. So that could be pointing to what brings that up for you. And then Venus will be moving into your 12th house as well in April, so maybe that's what this is pointing to. It could just be an old love interest coming back around, because we do have the Page of Cups there. They could be, so maybe that's what this whole thing is centered around. Maybe someone you'd broken up with is coming back around, because that could be what the Judgment card represents there. The Nine of Pentacles energy I usually view as someone, being single and very comfortable with that status as well. And then the Page of Cups, again, we talked about the page earlier with the Pentacles, but with the Page of Cups, you almost get that same vibe, right? Like the person has a fish in a cup. So it's basically, to me, that points to, all right, yeah, they might make an effort, they might make an offer, and it might be well intentioned, but you just might not take it seriously. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, you want to offer me that cup, but you didn't even make sure that you cleared it. You know what I mean? There's a freaking fish in a cup, buddy. What do you want me to do with that? So that could be what's going on there. Someone could come back around and you're like, yeah, I don't know if I'm really feeling that. I think I'm going to stay single, because they just, to you anyway, you might view it like, really? Is that really all you're coming back around with, So that's the main vibe that I got from that. For some of you, though, this could also be a creative project coming back around, too, and really, you might actually even see, all right, well, here's what was wrong with it in the past, right? And now you know, okay, here's what I can do to fix it, right? That could be what the Judgment card is pointing to there. And well, I should point out the signs for these cards too. This I typically view as one of my Scorpio major arcanas, the Death card being the Death side of Scorpio, then this would be the Rebirth side. Page of Cups, it's not actually, it doesn't usually point to a specific water sign for me, but it's definitely that energy. It could be someone that's younger than you, or you just perceive as maybe I'm reluctant to say immature, because I don't mean that in a negative connotation, but they just might not quite be at your level, basically. And this is a Virgo card here, so represents the middle 10 degrees of Virgo. So there's definitely some Virgo energy in the spread too. I mean, you have that card there, the Hermit card, obviously, and then when we get to the environment, that's another Virgo card there. So some of you could definitely be dealing with the Virgo, but to me, this could just be work energy for you as well. I'm getting that vibe that, with these Pentacles cards, the way they're popping up here, I feel like you're really focused on finances, and that makes sense. I mean, you guys have had Mars moving through your second house. You guys, that's your ruler, and your second house will be related to finances pretty heavily. So could just be saying that that's where your focus has been lately. You've really been trying to focus on that area. All right, in the position of your influence on the situation, speaking of that Earth energy and Taurus energy, you guys got the Hierophant. So this is the major arcana card for Taurus. And, you guys had Uranus in your sign for about 7.5 years, I believe. And, it went into Taurus briefly last year, then came back to your sign for a little bit. Now it's officially moved on for good, well, basically in this lifetime for you guys anyway. It's going to be in Taurus for about 7 more years, which is your house of finances. So, that could just be, with that in the Mars energy, you really could have just been taking on that more Taurus type energy, which is to, especially with the Hermit mixing with your card there too, rather than, just banging your head against the wall, just being really determined, but also very discerning about what path you've been on. So that's the main vibe that I'm getting there. But yeah, this could just be saying that you've been a little bit more slow, methodical with your movements, but in a positive way. All right, and then in the position of the environment, we got a lot of cards that popped up in this one. First card, we briefly took a look at this earlier, but this is the Knight of Pentacles. So this is actually the court card for Virgo. So like I said, this is the third Virgo energy you guys have in the spread. The Ace of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. Oh yeah, and actually the Six of Pentacles too. So a whole lot of cards that came up in this position. So here's primarily what I'm seeing going on with this, because it's quite a bit. So hang with me for a bit on this one. So with the Knight of Pentacles, usually this is an offer that comes through. It's usually a tangible offer, but it usually is a long time coming. So this could have been something that you've been waiting on for a long time. And maybe that's what that Page of Pentacles was there. You're like, really? Okay, when am I going to get this freaking offer, right? Like maybe you apply to be a boss, and that's what the Hermit energy is. You're like watching, like, okay, are they going to get back to me? What's going on? Or maybe you've been promised a promotion in the past, right? Like, oh yeah, you do X, Y, Z, and we'll promote you, right? And you're like, okay, so I did X, Y, Z. Where's the freaking promotion, right? So with this in the environment position, it could just be saying that yes, it is still coming. And while it might be a firm offer made to you, you still might hear though, okay, they might officially offer you something, but they might have a, future date for it. So they might give you the firm date of, okay, yes, you got the promotion, yes, you're getting the job, but, we won't be able to officially move you over to that department or whatever the case until May, right? So it's like, okay, you finally got the solid offer, but it's still not something tangibly in your possession because they're telling you, yes, you're going to get it, but you're going to have to wait another month or 2 months, whatever the case may be. And with this card in the mix, though, I would say be very careful about people in your environment. So what I would say there is, like, let's say there's someone else that also was applying for that job, right? Make sure that they're not doing anything shady. Don't outright accuse people, but definitely keep an eye out for that to see, okay, I put in my application, so did this person, but have they been trying to say something behind my back, to try to give themselves the upper hand, you know what I mean? Something along those lines. Or let's say, they might try to deter you from following up about it, right? Like, oh yeah, I heard such and such got the job, and then you're like, oh crap. And then, maybe you were going to follow up to say, hey, is there anything more I could do for you guys? Is there more that information you need from me in order to make your decision? But someone tells you, oh no, yeah, we heard such and such is going to get the job, and then you don't do that, you don't follow up, and then that could end up costing you. But the good thing is, with the Six of Pentacles in the mix too, this could just be pointing to the fact that, you should expect the balance to be restored. And then another way this could play out too is, let's say the holdup has been someone's been, trying to, let's say you gave 3 references, right, from previous employers or something like that, and one of them was trying to be petty, and they might have given you a half-assed review, like, oh yeah, so and so was okay, right? Especially if it's a job you still work at and you're trying to go to a new job. They might not want to lose you, so they might give you a bit of a shady review to to the prospective employer. But it looks like it's saying that with this card here, everything will balance out. So if this was also money that was due to you, right? Maybe it was your bosses saying, "Oh no, well, we don't have the funding to give you a raise or something like that," right? But then finally it comes out this month, oh yeah, they do have the money for it, and then you finally get it. So I know that was a lot. Sorry, hopefully that wasn't too confusing. But I mean, there were 4 cards there, so we had to cover quite a bit with that. Um, in my head, it made sense. So hopefully, it made sense as it came out of my mouth too. I don't know. Mercury's still retrograde. We'll see. But in the hopes or fears position, you guys got the Strength card. So I'm gonna assume this is a hope. Strength is the major arcana card for Leo. That's your 5th house. Nothing really going on in that sign right now, but what this points to me primarily is, if you think about Leo is ruled by the sun, and then so having the sun come back into your sign this month, that could just be saying that gives you that reinvigoration that you've been looking for, right? Or that recognition. Sometimes Leo is also about the spotlight, right? The public recognition, what you're known for. So, well, I mean 10th house as well, but 5th house definitely relates to that. So this could just be saying that you're hoping to get that recognition for, hey, all this work I've been putting in, with not the expectation per se, but you're like, okay, I've been putting in this work with the hopes of getting something out of it, and then maybe this is saying that you're just hoping for that to come through this month. Looks like for the most part it will. There, even with that tricky 5 of Swords energy there, having the 6 of Pentacles right below it is pretty good. Having a Judgment card in the near future is also something that to me would point to things working out fairly. And then let's not forget, like we said, the Wheel of Fortune in the foundation. So should be set up pretty good in that regard. All right, and then in the outcome position, you got the 8 of Pentacles. So this is yet another Virgo card, represents the first 10 degrees of Virgo. And I mean, it's almost self-explanatory, right? This is someone putting in some work. And to me, this is like, putting in the work to help your money grow, right? I mean, he's basically chiseling his own pentacle there. So it's like, all right, you're really putting in the work to increase your finances. And so to me, if it's not necessarily an actual Virgo in your life that you're dealing with, let's go back to the fact that 6th house, that is work energy for you guys. So the Virgo being your 6th house, all those cards just be pointing to that's really where you're focusing right now, which is work. Could also be health as well, daily routine. So that's the general vibe with that. And we also I should mention, we do have the Queen of Cups at the bottom of the deck as well. And I'm looking at the Queen of Wands looking at that too. So some of you could be dealing with a Cancer in some way, shape, or form. Or this could just be you, just looking at things from an emotional standpoint as well. That's possible. And then if this is a timeline, this could just be pointing to that new moon that I mentioned too, because when the moon moves into your sign early in the month of April, like I said, that's also going to coincide with the Mercury retrograde shadow energy clearing up, and as a result, you should be seeing things fairly clearly from there too. And it's going to be a pretty quiet new moon for you guys this time around. There's not any like harsh squares or anything like that, so should be a fairly good month for you guys. But let's move on to the oracle cards. So first one you got was Observer. There's the artwork for it, and the number is 49. So let's take a look at that message. All right, it says perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. The Oracle's message: most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences, so much so that they come to believe that these are the only reality. There are times when you need distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. This is a perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about the conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now. You'll be so happy you did. Illumination is the miracle you seek and will indeed find. So, I kind of touched on that in the beginning when I was saying you had the hermit there, that for some of you could just be saying that you've been in a very introspective mood, doing some self reflection with all that 12th house energy you guys have going on. That could be how it's playing out for you. But beyond that, another way that this could be playing out too that I didn't think of until just now is I automatically almost defaulted to Emperor representing you since that's your major arcana. But another way that this could be playing out too is the Hermit card could be you really examining your boss. Like, because going back to this energy here, like I said, with the Five of Swords in the mix there, maybe you're really getting some kind of vibe that maybe your boss has been giving you some empty promises, right? And then maybe that's what that past energy is there too, saying that, they've been making you offers, but you're like, all right, something doesn't seem right with that, like maybe they've been giving you lowball offers for a raise, or you applied for a promotion, and as you're interviewing for the promotion, they're giving you some lowball salary numbers, and you're like, no, I should get more than that if I'm taking on all these extra responsibilities, right? So that's another way that could be playing out too. So definitely, especially with the Queen of Cups at the bottom of the deck, like I said, don't definitely try to avoid like an accusatory vibe, but look at things a little bit closer, especially with that retrograde energy in your 12th house. And just make sure everything's up on the up and up. Like I said, there's definitely some pretty good cards here that show that things should pan out anyway in your favor, but just take a little extra precaution in that area. All right, the relationship message. We didn't really talk about love too much. Well, I guess in a couple of the spots we did, but we'll see if this resonates for some of you. It says, sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees in your way. Feelings can get all jumbled up, and often you hear one thing when a person says another. It can be like an echo of an unresolved past experience dubbed over your conversation. Take time out before you react. It's likely the other person has no idea how his or her words have affected you. Take a few steps back and lend understanding to the situation. Have faith in your connection and trust that you can come together. Take to the higher ground now and cultivate curiosity about what you observe in yourself and others and in the landscape. You will find things much improved sooner than you know. So, again, if maybe that was, like I said, with that Six of Cups energy there and the Judgment energy there, maybe you did have a falling out with someone and they come back around, and maybe, like I said, with that Page of Cups there, it's not necessarily a deceitful offer. It's just that they could be a bit oblivious to the fact that to you it might seem like it's not something that that you would take seriously. So maybe that's what it's referring to there. The prosperity message says it is an advantageous time for you to get some distance from what you're doing, and see your work and projects from a different perspective. The trick is to connect to the essence of your goals and aspirations while letting the form and timing be dictated by spirit. You may be too personally attached to an outcome and unable to see the miracle because it's not turning out exactly as you planned. Trust spirit. The perfect version of your abundance is right in front of you. Remain neutral and curious and watch the miracle unfold. Alright, so hopefully that message resonated for you as well. And then, like I said, we had 3 oracle cards come up for you guys in the second deck, which is the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. So we'll get through those next. First one he had was Eagle Spirit. It says, Spirit has your back. There's the artwork for it, and the number is 23. Let's take a look at that one first. Alright, it says, think of the eagles flying above Think of the eagles flying high above the other birds, soaring on the wind. Eagle Spirit has appeared to ask whether you're willing to soar to new heights, even if that means solitude for a short while. Truly, all the wisdom of the world is available to you. When storms flash across the sky, it is Eagle Spirit that raises you above it all, helping you conquer fear and overcome adversity, reminding you that Spirit has your back and wants you to experience life at its fullest. At this moment, you are meant to know that you have the highest of wisdom and courage within, gifted to you by Spirit and all the angels. Boldly build your nest in a lofty space and know that you can now fly effortlessly, proudly embodying Eagle Spirit in all her glory and grace, claiming what is truly yours in divine timing. So, that points to a few different cards there. The Judgment card in the near future, the fact that, like I said, you had that Five of Swords in the environment, but then the Six of Pentacles right after it. So, that could be some of what that's pointing to there. And then the Hierophant being a bit of more of a spiritual energy than, say, the Emperor, too. So, maybe that's also pointing to you taking things from a more spiritual vantage point. All right, then the next one we had was Lion Spirit. It says, be generous of spirit. There's the artwork for it, and the number for that is 37. So, we do have the strength card there. So, like I was saying, with that showing up in the hope position, and maybe that's a pretty good omen that you got this card as well. Let's see what it says. It says, a healthy ego means you ease God's order instead of edging God out. Lion Spirit's appearance is a reminder that you have been given the gift of pride and a healthy sense of your own worth to express your divine, authentic self in a unique way. You are both the king and the queen, secure in your prosperity and wisdom, and generous of spirit as you help others. Take pride in your ability to serve from the heart. Contentment with what you have right now allows you to use your resources wisely as you give to others in ways that educate, heal, inspire, and delight. Be proud yet humble. Practice gratitude, and you will find that the accolades that come to you are no match for the joy of knowing what you have been able to do for others through expressing the bounty of generosity within you. Lion Spirit knows there is a great savanna before you, and many who will benefit from the healthy expression of your unique set of gifts if you choose to work in partnership with Spirit. All your relationships flourish as you express your worth and generosity of spirit with humility and kindness. What a blessing you can be to all. So, that's obviously a pretty good message there as well. What kind of popped out to me there too was it said you are both king and queen, because it made me think of the fact that, Emperor is closer to like that king energy, being more masculine, and then the Queen of Wands also being in your spread. And let's see, the last one we have is Flamingo Spirit. It says embrace the in-between. Here's the artwork. And then that's number 26. All right, let's look at this one. It says, balance comes easily to Flamingo Spirit, who sees what was and what will be and stands strong in the face of uncertainty. You can be informed by what came before and plan for a future yet to be, but do not resist Flamingo Spirit's call to be fully present in the now, where the real magic happens. With one foot in the life you are moving away from, and one in the future as you become the one who leads the life of your highest intentions, you must make peace with the fact that you are not fully in either place. Embrace the in-between. The presence of Flamingo Spirit is also a sign that your creativity is arising within you and opportunities are beginning to present themselves. Remain here in a balanced state of mind, for there is much to know and learn before going forward with new plans. You can trust this moment and yourself as you take in what you see and become aware of all that you are experiencing in this in-between time. So that's a pretty solid message there too. I would say, it almost goes along with the fact that, like we said, it looks like there's some things from the past coming back around for resolution. Looks like offers you may have been waiting on for a long time are finally starting to come through. So there's definitely quite a bit of that energy. And then I also think of this, even though this is technically the court card for Cancer, I'm almost looking at this as this could also be the shift from that Pisces water energy to the fire energy, right? That could be what this is pointing to as well. It's like you're coming out of that watery energy with all the 12th house stuff you've had going on, and now finally having things coming back into your sign. And actually, before I forget that too, it just popped in my head. All these offers coming around too could also have to do with the fact that your ruler is now in April. It's going to be moving into the sign of Gemini. So, that's your house of communication. So maybe all those things that were held up, and combine that with the Mercury retrograde, no less, too. Maybe things that were held up for a while, when your ruler finally goes in there, okay, now you finally get those communications about what the holdup was, if they do need more information from you, right? And maybe that's what was going on and why things were delayed, things along those lines. All right. And last thing, I've been pulling a mudra card for all the signs this year. So, for those of you who don't know, just a quick intro. A mudra is basically, a pose or a hand gesture that you make while meditating. And basically, depending on the specific mudra, they help to clear blockages, wherever they be, physical, emotional, whatever the case may be. And so I've been pulling one for each sign every month. And the one that you guys got for this month is the Matangi Mudra. And this is the actual pose itself there. And as you could see, the actual keyword for it is authenticity. All right, and let's flip it over, take a look at what it has to say. All right, so if you guys wanted to pause this or take a screenshot to take a look at what it says, I'll hold this up for a bit. And now we'll move it up so you guys could see the rest of what was on the card as well. As you can see, for benefits, it says facilitates diaphragmatic breathing, benefits the abdomen and abdominal organs of digestion, assimilation and elimination, activates the power of spirit, improves discernment and self-honesty, improves the voice and ability to communicate inner feelings. Well, that's actually pretty funny, improves the voice part, because I was just pointing out how your ruler is about to go into Gemini, so there's that. But if this sounds like something you think you could use help with, I'll also put the name of that mudra in the description for the video, in case you wanted to look into that a little bit more. But aside from that, like I said, happy birthday, guys. And if you want a personal reading, you can check out the description for this video for a little more info on that. And you could also check me out on Instagram, where we have a little bit more fun with tarot and astrology there. But if not, I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.